Here we are again, blade lovers. This old sword with you. And I have for you today a knife that's been out for a while, but new to me, recently acquired. I believe this was an Amazon purchase, and this is a brute of a lockback, triad lock from Cold Steel. And I don't do too many Cold Steel knives, but the ones I have I do appreciate and value for their unique features in the design and workmanship that have gone into them. This is actually what you'd consider to be a budget knife, coming in around $75 or so. It is a budget version of the Formax, which is now, I think, going for like about $400 out of S35VN. Both are made in Taiwan, to the best of my knowledge. No, Taiwan is not considered to be China, and it is a separate country. It is autonomous and often threatened by mainland China, but I'll stay out of those politics. So, a lot of Cold Steel knives are made there. A lot of Spyderco knives are made there, amongst many others. So they do good work, good tooling, good workmanship, and this is no exception. Made of AUS 10A, and I looked that up on Knife Steel Compositions, and that is considered to be akin to 440C, believe it or not, but apparently rated better than AUS 8, AUS 8A, and the A stands for annealed. And I'm not a metallurgist, so I'm not going to get into what annealing means. You may likely know. This is a brute of a knife. We're going to measure it up, but that's about a 5mm blade stock, and it is no lightweight. It is a knife designed to take a beating and keep on ticking. It was a Timex commercial, I think, right? Way back when. But the triad lock system actually functions pretty smoothly. I can't say that's the case for all the triad knives I've gotten. Some of them have a bit of stick to them and need to be broken in. And I probably don't open them enough to get rid of that stick. But maybe one day. So there's your branding. Not that much considering the size of the knife, a little bit more on that side. So again, the Scout being the Econo version. This has GRN scales, nicely textured with like a sandpaper grip on it. It's very well done and thought out. Reminds me of what Hogue does on some of their knives. Wrist flick. Well, I'll roll it out because the camera doesn't give me enough room to do those gymnastics with the knife. But look at the thickness here, going from the lock bar all the way down to the blade. Double thumb studs, nicely tiered. You can get a good purchase on those. And unlocks quite nicely. And I'm sure this is going to break in. This just arrived yesterday. Very powerful spring clip on this. Not deep carry, but certainly good enough if you want to get a little bit of purchase on there with your fingers. So we're going to measure it up and we're going to compare it to a few others. But you can see, hopefully you can see, by the amount of handle left over, that this is a large knife, 4-inch blade, but not in the class of some of the mega large knives in the 5 or 6-inch blade classification from Cold Steel. All right, so here we go. Let's get the tape out and measure this guy up. It is a 10-inch overall knife with a 4-inch blade and a 4-inch cutting edge. There you go. Last time I measured the clip on one of the knives I did. I'm going to try not to do that today. .64 right across the breadth of it. And here we go for the blade stock. 4.7 millimeters. But actually thicker on the lock bar. Look at that, 5.2 on the lock bar. So we got the blade slightly thinner, 4.7. Finally, and this should come as no shock, but we're going to do it anyway. The weight, but we got to turn the scale on before we do that. Zeroed out. My, 10.135 ounces. Incredible. And believe me, in the hand, you definitely feel it. It is a massive knife. I don't know if the camera even really does it justice. But even in the box, before I took it out of the box, I'm saying, oh my God, this is a sinker. But you know, most knives, unless they're like a pound, I can carry pretty well and flat in the pocket. I don't know. We'll see what happens when I carry this around a bit. Quick comparisons. 8015 Scorpion lock. Both Andrew Demko designs on the locking systems. And now, I thought this was a pretty good sized knife. But look. But we're going to go the other direction now. Come on. One-handed stuff in front of the camera. I'm going to keep complaining. We're going to go another direction. Oh yeah. And take out the large Luzon. So yeah, we can dwarf almost any knife. You can dwarf the largest knife with a sword, for that matter. And you can dwarf the largest sword with something like a claymore, which stands like 5.5 feet tall. But yeah, the Luzon is one of those mega large knives from Cold Steel. What does this have, just out of curiosity? 6-inch, I think. Yep, 6-inch on that. So 2 inches longer is certainly going to come across as being a larger knife. How about against a modest Griptilian? Definitely larger. And here's one where I feel the blade is very similar in some regards. Just reminded me of it. That is the Concept Hell X, designed by Mikkel Williamson. And you know what? Pretty close. Pretty close. Closer than I thought it would be. And that's a liner lock. But very similar blade profile. So I think this can see a lot of outdoor use. Not that I'm out in the woods that much these days, but it's nice to know you got a really strong, and I'm talking, this lock's like a vault. There is zero movement. You need a knife you can really depend on, survival situation, what have you, that folds and carries relatively compact over a fixed blade. And I understand will withstand 600 pounds of pressure in the Cold Steel tests, and Cold Steel likes to test their stuff. Ergos are really good. The handle drops a little bit, as you can see. So a little bit of that pistol grip sort of feel. Has finger grooves, but they're very shallow. And I don't even really feel it forcing my hand one direction or another. I can get out near the end, should need be. Tactical defensive situation. And the choke up, the choil, is extremely useful. It's built into the handle. And so for your finer work, you can definitely get up on that blade. You could go here if you needed to. By the way, nice stone wash. Not real fancy, but definitely serviceable, really good stone wash. Lanyard hole. The clip, as far as I know, does not switch. Well, it could. I haven't looked that up. It could. Right now, the way that's set up, I'm going to say it can switch. If you know better, let me know. Like the jimping built right into the frame. And when you're choked up like this and locked in between these two fingers, you don't really need it. And you can get back here, and if need be, you can hack with it a little bit. You can chop. So I'd say this would be a good camp knife. This would be a good survivalist knife. It's got enough of a point where if you needed that point to dig or work in any way, I don't think you're going to break that. You can break just about anything though, but look at that thickness of steel. Nice swedge. Just you could call it a beater, but I think it's beyond that. I think it's going to be a knife that serves you well, particularly in rugged outdoor environments. And you got a nice stainless steel there. Should hold an edge. I hear it does hold an edge. I stropped this just a little bit. Didn't come through with the sharpest edge, but certainly wasn't bad by any means. So there you have the Formax Scout by Cold Steel. Somewhat of an unusual review for me, in that doing a lot of other types of knives, but this, I saw it again and again and again, keep coming up, and saw stellar reviews on places where the knives were bought. So I said, for the money, let's give it a go, and it's going to be another large Cold Steel in the collection amongst many others. And I thought I did have the Frenzy available, but we'll leave the Frenzy out of the picture for the time being. It's going to come in around the same length as the large Lausanne. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. This Old Sword. See you soon.